Hello.
There
Okay,
you
good
go.
morning, guys. It is October 27th, and I am recording this, so if anybody wants to come back to it. Um, we were just talking, Paula was just talking, she's working with her coach, Debbie. And one thing, and I was telling Barb this, I got my hand slapped. I need to have a strong relationship with coaches below me. If your coaches don't know me, they should know me like you know Jan. They should feel very confident if they need me. We need to make sure that we have a chat and that we use that chat just so I can kind of see what's going on in their lives. Um, yeah, Dr. A and Dan Bell did a whole chunk on if you do not have relationships with people that are your coaches or your coaches, says you're missing a huge piece of being a community of coaches and letting them feel that support. What happens if something happens to you someday? What if you end up going on a 10-day cruise and they don't know your coach and they don't feel confident in your coach because they have no relationship? It was, and then he went on to, you know what, what if those coaches decide that they want to go on a hiatus because they have something else going on? There has to be relationship. And then he talked about support, how important it is to feel the whole community of support. And that's one of the reasons that it's so important to have me come in on that day 10 CCC. They need to know me. They need to know that they are not just flailing around or that it's just the wind zoom. They need to know that there is people to reach out to. And then about week 6, we bring them to a second Zoom, which is just to tell them about what it looks like to coach. Every client should have that awakening to coaching. It's not a coach explore. It's literally what, shoot, my brain is just gone. What's it called? What do we call it? That one that just tells them, what's possible, what's available to them. About week 6. Kevin does mine. Sometimes I bring in, if somebody's really kind of interested, I bring in Jan. Jan does all of my coach explores. It's just that community. They're never alone. And we want to definitely build that piece of it. So they went deep into that, which kind of surprised me. They also went really deep into the compensation plan. They said, this is your business. Do you know how much um, CV there is on one box of fuelings? So that's the foundation. If you don't know how much CV and QV, I didn't know. I was like, oh, okay, I guess I better get familiar with that. And a lot of the compensation plan, I kind of knew, but it's time for me to spend a little bit of time each day on the foundation of the compensation plan. He says, your business will never attain what you want if you don't understand. How can you teach it to your coaches? How can you know to support your clients if you're not doing the basics of the compensation plan? Like watching people with their orders and doing the maps so that you know if they need more support with ordering or if they need more support with um who are they buying double the fuelings for? Or why did they just cancel? Do they have too many? We need to be in the middle of those two. So that was really good for me too. And holy Hannah, right now he said till the end of the year, grab new coaches and run with them, because do you know that a brand new coach right now for their first 6 months, they can earn up to 45% of their CV, of their qualifying volume. 45%. That's nuts with all the bonuses that we have. If we run with them in the first 3 months, if they have 5, 5, and 5, they can have $3,000 only in bonuses. That's not the five. percent because of the 3, 5, and 7. That's not their weekly commission. That's not their he's going through that stuff and he's like, but we've got to be in action. So one thing that I asked each of you, and then we'll go to inspiring from each of you. I asked each of you, Dr. A asked each of us, challenge by the end of the month, one new client. What have you done differently since I challenged you to that? Has there been anything that you have done from that challenge? I gave you 3 challenges, but have you done anything with that challenge? Have you looked for a couple of people? Is there anything that you've done since you've been challenged with that? It's got to be something you've done differently, because what we do on a regular basis doesn't change anything. Anybody? Okay.
I'm doing better follow-up, so I've had actually a little bit more time. I felt like that I could enjoy it because it's so much more fun when you're not cramming it and you're actually just do it. And so I'll say that I'm already doing so much better on that, which then just makes me want to do more,
Yeah.
honestly. So
And he was very animate and new. So I'm
New
not,
client.
yeah. Well, new coaches too. He says, I'm not here to drag you
absolutely.
guys. He says, do not drag the coaches you have. Be there for them, inspire, work with them, but don't drag people. So when you guys need something, just tell me. That's so good. And that's kind of why I broke you guys away, is because you guys are the ones that said yes when I asked. You know, I've got my regular team thread, but you guys are my team growth. You are the guys that said yes when I said, do you want to do this? You also said yes over to Jan's run to ED. So you've told me, so I feel like I have a little bit more ability to jump in and help encourage and inspire. But one thing that he said is it's in the new. Who's the new clients? Who are the new coaches? Who are the people that you're inspiring? Next level. Because sometimes we get so stuck following up with those people that once said, yeah, maybe, that we don't spend any time finding new friends. We don't find new people to build a relationship. He says, never let those old ones go. You know, we don't want to burn bridges, but don't drag people. When they start catching on fire, let it catch on fire. And then do remember, I did encourage everybody to get the little glucose monitor. Holy Hannah, that has been awakening to me, watching what happens when I do what I do. And then for those of you in the Payette area, I got you the information about the Four Rivers Cultural CrossFit Gym, having one for $20 to print that all out. Have a foundation. We're changing. We are no longer 2.0 coaches. And he says, quit repeating the past. It's time for the future. He was very, very adamant. I mean, people would start, but I this and I that. And he's like, what? Okay, it's time for personal development. Quit thinking about previously. What's next? He says, you keep repeating those stories, you're going to keep getting that stuff. I don't know how many times he stopped somebody and said, quit. That's the 2.0. 3.0 is looking for the future. It was very, very, it's kind of like Raquel when she jumps in and says, oh, that's number 5. Oh, that's number 1. When we're talking about what do you say to yourself in the morning? It was so, stop. Quit being negative. Quit going back to, you know, somebody asked about a client that I called into nutrition support and this, and it was like, stop. Recognize we're Optivians. That's the company. The company hasn't turned into 3.0 yet. Right now, we're moving forward. Okay, so all of that. who wants to share something inspiring before I take off on the mini Sundance stuff?
Shoot, I'm going to have to come back to the recording because I have to run.
Yep, she
Um,
said she has an appointment this morning, so.
uh, but
Good day, Paula.
hey, where do you post the recording of this, TJ?
In our team growth Zoom
Growth,
thing,
okay.
that's the only thing we have is the team growth Zoom, so.
Because I would love to hear about Sundance. But
Awesome.
but I felt like this week with some growth is I really inspired one of my coaches to really, because I did a QR code, made cards up. She's inspired to do that. And she did it and we walked through it. And because of your help with the video, that was amazing. That was so helpful. And so I'm just trying to find my stride. I'm working on that
Awesome.
and getting out, working with finding new people. So
So good. So good. And we're definitely gonna walk. We've got a new way to connect with people too. I'm super excited about that I'll talk about. So
oh, cool. Well, you guys, I will catch this later today
okay.
and have a great day.
All right. And
Bye.
Paula,
Have a good
did
day,
you say
Paula.
you will be back for your mentorship or you don't think you will? 'Cause
I am going to try to
okay.
so it's going to be
I'll-
close. I'll probably be in the car.
okay. Do you want to switch with Barb? Because usually Barb says, hey, I would take that spot.
What time's Barb's?
Oh no, Barb, you're right after this. Nope.
Yeah, I'm
not
right
this
after
group.
this
I
call.
TJ, I should be able to get on
Okay.
for
Okay.
yeah. We'll
Okay.
shoot. And if my appointment runs late, I will text you real quick.
Perfect. Okay. Awesome. Awesome.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye. All right. Who else has something to inspire us with?
Well, I want to share that I just mentioned that I had a little bit more time to actually call my time to be able to work on my business versus pushing and shoving. And it was so fun. And I was mentioning to TJ just really quickly the other day, but I'll tell it the long version today is that I have a little gal that just got engaged. She's a girlfriend through just another friend. Nobody I really have done anything with or been around, but I've been around her now for almost a year, just hit and miss seeing one another. And the other day, she was talking about her job and she was very discouraged and she went ahead and gave her notice and she's going to be the end of the year. And I said, well, what are you going to do? And she says, well, I haven't really decided yet. I'm just newly engaged and we are talking about our wedding and when we're going to set our plans. And so she has those exciting things going on in her world that are kind of taking up her thoughts right now. And I said, well, I think we need to take a coffee break or something sometime and go visit about what I do. And she says, that's right. She says, you do that healthy stuff. It just sounds so wholesome. She says, I'd like to hear a little bit more about that. She says, and you're a coach? And I said, that's right. And she said, well, when can we meet? And she just caught me so off guard because we're so used to have to working so hard, and thinking about what am I going to say or how am I going to say it or when should I bring it up? Because I've talked to her a couple times. It just kind of happened. And it gave me goosebumps when it happened. And I thought, wow, what am I supposed to say now? I'm not used to this kind of stuff. And so I meet with her today and because she was really excited to get together, and so I'm really excited where this can go, and I just was flabbergasted, honestly, and really excited too because I thought, and we talked about coaching first. We didn't talk about losing weight. We didn't talk about this, that, food, how much does it cost, all that kind of stuff that lots of times that's where people kind of hang out. That it was just amazing that hopefully I have made some kind of an impression that that's right. You do health coach stuff. Well, I want to know more about that. She says, it sounds really wholesome. She kept saying wholesome. And I thought, well, I'm glad I'm coming off as wholesome. That's better than a lot of things. So anyway, I'm super excited to visit with her today and I will try not to word vomit all over her. So,
Yeah.
and then if as we continue, then I'll bring TJ in and we'll talk a little bit more about this. So, So that's really exciting.
Yeah, lots of questions. I think that's
Yeah.
the biggest thing. Let's see, and I do want to run through. Um, okay. Our vision statement, because I've been missing that each
Oh,
time, and I want to start our meetings with the vision statement. So if you think about it, if I haven't, help me start off with our vision statement for this group. Again, you guys are my elite that say yes to I want more. I want to change more lives. So we are a powerful community of Optavia coaches committed to creating results and building unstoppable momentum. As such, we will be proactive and not just reactive. This is a space for leaders. You guys are my leaders. You guys are my coaching partners. You're not my coaches. You're my coaching partners. And I'm asking you guys to lead, and I want to lead with you on this team. So this is spaces for leaders who are ready to lead with intention, connect purposely, and inspire each other forward. This is 100% positive space to grow, learn, and lean together, which was really fun after the way Dr. A kept stopping people. Quit going into the nightmare of the past. What's next? At a cellular level, your body is listening to your thoughts and your voice. Why do you keep repeating what used to be or what bad happened? Only speak truth, only speak wins. It says it's not that it's something that we don't have to navigate, but you repeat it and you repeat it and you repeat it and you repeat it. Stop. What do you want? Not what don't you want? I was like, where have I heard that before? Habits of health. I remember reading that the first time. Some of the stuff that he said was like, reverse engineer. Don't tell me what you don't want. What do you want? And at 3.0, it's going to be what do you want? And we're going to help people look at what do you want? Okay. Wow, I am going to get through this. This is a space for leaders who are ready to lead with intention, connect purposely, inspire each other forward. This is 100% positive space to grow, learn, and lead together. We show up with energy, value, and encouragement, making every coach feel seen, heard, and supported. We are movement makers. Our team growth Zoom is a sacred space for those who are moving forward in their businesses with vision and integrity. We gather for 60 minutes weekly. The first 30 minutes is to inspire each other, and the second 30 minutes is to learn from each other. Together we rise, we inspire forward, we lift each other up. We learn together, we lead together, we grow together. Growth is better when we do it together. Our 6 habits of transformational leadership. The first one is we lead from the future, we act in the now. This habit emphasizes the importance of having a clear vision for the future while taking practical steps in the present to achieve it. Number 2, we take responsibility. We play above the line. This involves taking ownership of one's actions and decisions rather than blaming external factors and acting ethically and responsibly. Number 3, we seek growth and we embrace obstacles as the way. This habit encourages continuous learning and development, viewing challenges as an opportunity for growth and improvement. Number 4, we connect authentically and we cultivate trust. This highlights the importance of building genuine and trusting relationships with others through open communication and empathy. Number 5, we awaken potential and transform masterfully. This focuses on identifying and nurturing the potential in oneself and others, empowering us and them to reach their full potential. And number 6, we deliver extraordinary results and serve to better humankind. This habit emphasizes the importance of achieving exceptional outcomes while also contributing to the well-being of society. These 6 habits, when practiced consistently, can empower leaders to drive positive change, inspire others, and achieve remarkable results. And usually I don't read the 6 habits of transformational leadership, but I thought this morning would be good since we haven't gone through those in a while. Oh, wow, doesn't
Can
that
you
just
tell me,
empower
is
you?
well, I don't remember everything being as long as that was because I was trying to write stuff down and then I stopped. So is
No.
this pinned at our top of our team growth?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's the 6 habits of transformational leadership. I just put those on there. That's not part of our vision statement.
Right.
Those are-
Right. No, I
those
even
are-
just even
okay.
I didn't remember because I think because we haven't been doing it every single time, and you're right, we should start out with that each time. But
Yep,
I
it
thought
is.
that has to be pinned somewhere. I'm going to stop writing. I can't
Yep,
write that fast.
It is. It's all penned in team growth
Okay.
chat. And that's what we have. My
Okay.
leadership group has team growth chat. So, yep. Awesome. Okay, who else has something that they want to inspire us with?
I think this might be a win.
Okay.
I don't have anything to inspire you with. My DEXIT, my body scan, my Renpro scale. So we left here on the 15th. I didn't take it with me. I'm like, that thing is driving me nuts. But today, nothing changed, which, like, nothing changed. But I also didn't gain anything,
You
which is
traveled.
good because we
Yes.
ate out a
Absolutely.
lot. We were with a girl and her dad. The dad was driving tractor with Gary, and they stay in a motel, so they have to buy every meal. And I do not cook for other people. That's not my thing. So we ate out.
Yep.
But nothing changed. Nothing went up. Nothing came down, but nothing went up. So, yeah.
That is a win.
It
That's
is.
huge. That's
I mean,
just simply.
yeah. And the day after, you know how truck time is when you're in the car all day long, how you usually feel. So
Mhm.
I was like, should I even step on it today? But I did.
Gotta know where you're at to know where you want to go.
And yeah, TJ, you'll be happy to know that I sent out an email to some people. I quit
Yes.
overthinking it and just said, I just want to slide in here and let you know that this is what I'm doing. I didn't make a fancy video. I didn't go 3-4 paragraphs. I just said, I'm back coaching because I found out this is the best way I can to do what I'm doing. And if you're interested, so we'll see. I just did that yesterday because I'm like, I am not going into this saying I haven't done it again.
There you go. That's integrity,
Yes.
and it's perfect. Absolutely. All right, and I know Raquel's not been feeling great. Do you have anything, Raquel? Otherwise, okay. Yeah. A little bit of a
No voice.
itchy voice, and I'll tell you what, Saturday you did fabulous for not feeling great.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
well, I will tell you guys, hanging out at the feet of Dan Bell and Dr. A for Thursday night and all day Friday. We literally were over there early. I think he got there at 9, and I think he left it a little after 8. They left it a little after 8. It was incredible, hanging out at lunch, just listening to them. I think I will start. They started with, guess what? The 6 habits of transformational leadership. He says when we rebranded to Optavia, we created those 6 habits of transformational leadership. They had something similar, but that's really what we still stand for. He says it's very, very important to know those. Yeah, and you can go to Google or I don't think I have it in the vision statement thing, but just find those 6 habits of transformational leadership. Those are the things that we really want to exude in our lives. Another thing, he was very, very focused on Thursday night. He had some questions he had us go through, and he said, waller in those things tonight. He goes, really go deep into those questions. After you leave here, before you go to bed, go through and, who is Optavia to you? Who this? And I mean, it was, well, actually, I can tell you the questions because I got my paper right here. He says, go through right now as a 2.0 Optavia coach. What does Optavia mean to you? Where are you on your health and business journey? What has you excited? What are you concerned? What are your concerns? What are your fears? If you've been stuck or sitting on the sidelines, what's causing those feelings? Why did you decide to attend this event? That was a big one. What do you hope you'll learn, come away with after this retreat? What would you like to see us cover in the next day and a half? So they were very, very adamant. While we're in those, figure them out. What's going on right now? He says, because tomorrow morning, you don't get to look back at those. You will no longer be a 2.0 coach. Tomorrow, we are going to turn you into 3.0 coaches. That stuff, it doesn't matter. What matters is we are moving forward. He wanted to make a line in the sand, and I'm hoping that he's going to give you guys a little bit of what that looks like tomorrow or tonight. Today's Monday. Sorry, I'm so messed up with days. It was weird being on Thursday and Friday. I'm like, yeah. So the big focus was again 3.0. Today is a new day. He's going to give us an invitation to get on the boat. The boat is docked right now. It actually has kind of started heading out already because it started a month ago at one event, and then it started last week with Sundance, and then mini Sundance, and that boat is starting to move. Everybody has jumped on that wants to go. You have the ability to jump on that. Some of the things that we've done is we are now certified coaches. We now pay a better price yearly to be a professional coach. Some of the things are happening. We have a new line coming out next year, and I can tell you the name of it, but we're not supposed to talk about it, and we're not supposed to talk about having a new name. He says that's not serving anybody. It just gets everybody all up in gets their little panties in a wad and gets them all, you're not going to hear it until that convention. Don't talk about it. He says, even if you hear the name of the products, quit. That's not something to waste your brain space on. He says, you don't need to be telling people, you don't need to be talking about it, you don't need to be worrying about it. We are 3.0 coaches. We are looking for, and I wonder where that is. My vision has always been get out of your ego, get out of yourself, and whose life can we change? He says, we are getting the world healthy. That's always been my vision. And he says, he told us, I am a visionary. I've been a visionary. I will be a visionary. He goes, you guys know, if you've been in the Habits of Health, you know what 25 years ago I said, and that every time I was just a little bit ahead. I was just a little bit ahead, just a little bit ahead, whether it was the Instant Pot. That wasn't a big thing. Well, guess what? It got to be a big thing. It was the 9-inch plate. They've now changed over to instead of the food pyramid and, the glycemic index. Make it simple. Eat in the green and you stay lean. Quit making things hard. And that's the biggest thing. He says, we are turning this simple. Because it was always supposed to be simple. We have overcomplicated it. So that's pretty exciting too. Let's see. Make sure to put on your 3.0 glasses. He is creating a new, you guys all saw the Copenhagen video that he did last year at convention, right? Super cool, just talking about people who live in over 100, and there's so many people in Copenhagen and the way that they live life is so differently. Well, if you want to go find it, it's Dr. A in Copenhagen on YouTube. I can't remember the name exactly. We should probably find that. Jan actually put a trailer in Rising Tide for his new one that's coming. It's in Galicia, Spain. Same thing, 12% of people live to be over 100. You know, it's what's different. You know, they don't put their old people in a home. They live in a community, but a community of thriving people. Let's see, a few, metabolic synchronicity. That's what we're doing. That's the verbiage that we want to do. The vision has been reborn, he says. It's the same vision, but it's just evolving. So even when we change our names, we're still going to be who we are, but it's just evolving. This is a 10-year cycle that we're in. We'll move into a new cycle in 10 years. But right now we're doing this. Very soon, like on the 13th of November, he will be coming out with Prescription for Life. And it's all about metabolic health. And he actually talked, I'm going to buy 10 of them and I'm going to give them to people, or I'm going to send them to people that say, you know, what is this thing? And I said, you know, whether they're thinking about GLP-1s or whether they're not, he's going to have them very expensive. He's only going to have them purchased on Amazon, but he's going to let people go through and do the work themselves. He says, read it. It's like, okay, this is where I'm going. Our GLP-1s from him, he does a deep dive into GLP-1s. And then if they say yes, they go here and it tells them more about GLP-1s. Or if they say no, they come over here and they read this. And then they talk about the 6 macro habits. And then it talks about connecting with a coach. It does not say Optavia because we will not be Optavia for very long. I encourage, if you want to do that too, put your sticker in the book. I've thought about sending it from Amazon, but I want to have them and I want to mail them out because I'm going to put my QR code and my name in the back of the book, each of the books that I give out. He says, if you have a relationship with a doctor or a any type of a med spa, any type of a, he says, go and talk to them. Don't worry about that right now if you don't. But if you do, get that book in those people's hands and then get them your rack cards. But teach them, and he had Jan teach this, do not give them a rack card. Make them hover over your QR code, or Jan's is they write their name and stuff and then they rip that off and they give that to the desk. Then they can have the other half of the card. But there has to be that exchange. You have to have that information. I use the QR code and they have to touch on the button and put their name, phone number, and email in. And then they can give the rack card to them if they want it. But that gives us consent to be able to connect them, call them. So, but that book is going to be huge. Let them go through the ability to do that. Wow, guys, that was page 1 of my notes. And I have like 40 pages. So, needless to say, I will not be giving you all of what I learned. I'm sure he's going to be doing a lot. Again, breaking free from the toxic world. Moses was actually there. That was kind of fun. So that he, from corporate, could kind of hear what's happening. Because again, corporate hasn't been brought in. We have. We are. So they're starting to move towards corporate coming in. Again, it starts just from the beginning. It's not your fault. Again, he challenged us to get an in-body scan. That and he taught us about the different fats, visceral fat, subcutaneous fat. Visceral fat is very unhealthy. Subcutaneous fat is a protection and it doesn't hurt things. He went really deep into the fats, and that was very interesting. Brown fat. One thing before, this was just a side note about our health. Women actually are pretty protected against visceral adiposity because our bodies create estrogen. But after we go through menopause, the estrogen isn't as high and it starts going away. In fact, it can go to nothing. And at that point, the visceral adiposity, that's why a lot of people get that deep fat in their belly, because we don't have the estrogen. So he really encouraged, if you have a hormone specialist that does compound hormones. He said, check in with them. You may need a little bit of estrogen. Don't allow them to give you a lot, but you may need a little bit of that for protection, and it doesn't hurt for your bones, and it doesn't hurt for. So that was kind of an interesting thing. Let's see. The real enemy isn't, I have no idea what that was. Oh, if insulin is high, you cannot burn fat. Having this thing has been a real game changer. I haven't gone high. I've gone really low, and I never realized it. That's why when I don't sleep well, my blood sugar is really low. I'm actually pumping up my protein carb balance before bed, and I am sleeping so much better. Not a lean and green meal, but I'm getting it closer to bedtime, and I'm not having those 4 alarm fires that happen in the middle of the night. And the nights that my blood sugar is good, I am sleeping so much better. And that sleep is creating your muscles to get stronger too, because that's a huge piece of building muscles is the sleep and the rest, which again, I never realized that. But if insulin is high, you cannot burn fat. So those people who do weird things on the weekend and then come back and start all over, it's even more important to let them know you spike that, it's gonna take you longer to get back into it than before you get back to the weekend. You cannot burn fat. You can burn muscle, but you cannot burn fat if your insulin is high. Oh my gosh. And the new thing, we're going to have 3 words. It's going to be reset, which is 5 in 1. We're going to have, I can't remember the other ones. I don't have it right here. But reset will be, again, it's going to be so much simpler, more simple. But reset will just be 5 in 1. Our verbiage is going to change a lot, not necessarily today. We have trademarked metabolic synchronization. That's a trademark. Nobody else can use it. That's so cool. Bulletproof 14% reduction in 16 weeks of visceral adiposity. That's us. We get to say that. But again, that was just crazy. We have trademarked metabolic synchronicity. DEXA scan is the gold standard. If you can find a DEXA scan, that is the best, but InBody works. It's much more than our regular scales that we can have. Of course, the InBody also costs $10,000, so you're not purchasing one, but that's why it's so much more accurate. Reset is the 5 in 1. Our clinical studies. That was something kind of interesting too. Optavia went in with the clinical studies and or with like the FDA and the FTC, and they asked them, okay, so what exactly do we need to do to hit the standard? And so when we went into our studies, we knew exactly what we were looking for. And as we were looking for those things, so our studies were goof proof because we didn't just go and do some studies here and there. We figured out what we needed to study. We got the studies done. And then instead of hitting the standard, we were clear up here on everything. We hit a gold standard. We didn't just hit the minimum standard. We were so high above. It is so fun to hear about that. But again, some of them are like the 14% reduction in visceral adiposity in 16 weeks. That's crazy. We can say that now. Visceral is the unhealthy fat. That's the stuff that can squeeze off your organs and kill them. FDA, FTC, going to doctor's office. Yeah, this is bulletproof. And he talked about going into a doctor's office if you have a relationship with them. If you're not a, yeah, you're not a prescription person, you're not a doctor, you're not a, so don't necessarily just go running around. But he did say, med spas and doctor's offices that you have a relationship with, talk to them about it. Get the doctor the book and the studies. And we do have a link to the studies for them to actually read the studies. I am now calling myself, because we don't have a name for the new company. I am a certified metabolic health and lifestyle coach. Everybody was saying metabolic coach, which I think is fabulous, but I don't ever want to lose the mindset and the lifestyle piece of it. So for me, I'm a certified metabolic health and lifestyle coach. What's metabolic health? And here's another talking point that I thought of while we were doing it. So, people just ask how old we are because we're so bouncy and we're just, how old are you? Well, metabolically or chronologically? Do you think that's going to start some conversations? I'm so excited. Right now, through the end of December, this company, with all of the bonuses that they have, is paying out more than they have ever. And again, they're separate from us. And those bonuses only go through December. So those 3, 5, 7, 10% bonuses, we don't know if they might all go away afterwards. New coaches, those bonuses might go away at the end of December. Right now, they're through December. Coaches, they've got 6 months where they can earn higher than anybody, plus all of those bonuses. So even if you have a new coach in December, those bonuses over the top for 3 months, they're going to get the ability to earn $1,000 for 5 brand new clients each month. The 3, 5, and 7, yeah, I can't even, there's so many bonuses. I can't even tell you about them all right now. Those are some of the fun things. Reset, revive, and renew will be like our 3 phases now. Do the whole program. Healthy weight is only the first step. They are creating videos for us to use. Those will be out very, very soon. We can talk about the 14% in 16 weeks of loss of visceral fat. We can talk about also 10 times the weight lost, but it's when working with a coach. And that's working with a coach that shows up every week. So that's a very important statement. 17 times more fat loss and 98% lean body mass retention. So those are our 4 claims that we definitely want to add into pretty much anything that we say at some point. Lower lipids, we can work with cholesterol. We can talk about reversing type 2 or lowering insulin and sensitivity, insulin sensitivity, and lowering blood pressure. Metabolic Advantage is the name of the new products, but they said don't worry about that. You don't need to know that right now. And he says, please don't talk about it. Our body wants to heal. And he said that time and time and time again. Our body has the inherent capacity to heal itself as long as somebody doesn't wait too long. Once we end up with liver cirrhosis, that's scarring on the liver, it cannot be reversed once we get to that point. And he gave us the visual of this beautiful, slick liver that's purple and shiny. And then as we do what we do to it, it starts turning gray, it starts getting dull, it may even start getting like little crumbly warts and things. Once we move to that stage, it's not reversible. So he talked some pretty ugly stuff. Raise my game again. He talked about the glucose monitor. He talked about, taking yourself, go in and get an InBody or a DEXA scan. He said DEXA scan is the highest gold standard. Yes, it will cost you like $100. He said, where are you right now? Where do you want to go? Is there anything that stood out to you this weekend that just all of it?
Yeah, just what you went over,
Okay.
the fact that we can,
Oh, yeah.
you know,
Yeah, the fact that we can heal. And this was he was on a roll. He was on a roll when I shot you guys over that message. He was like, every single choice that you make in your health counts. He says that roll, and Amy asked roll, that dinner roll contributes to Alzheimer's. Do you understand that Alzheimer's is type 3 diabetes? That's kind of the nickname that it's gotten because it's all about everything that we've been talking about. He talked about, we can't say that we cure Alzheimer's. We can't say that we cure cancer. We can't say that we cure heart disease. But we can reverse all of the things that are happening to create those things. And he says, choose a dinner roll, spike your insulin. Guess what? You are headed towards Alzheimer's. He was on a big time roll when he got to that piece. He was like, think about that when you're making choices. What are you putting in your body? You understand when you're spiking your blood sugar, when you're eating too big of a meal, when you're eating fructose, which is just concentrated fruit juice. He goes, I like fruit. Fruit is fine. That is not. It's like, make choices. He says, I had some healthy, great grainy breads when I was over in Spain. I mean, but I was not overindulging and I was not, I made the choices. But recognize every choice is moving you towards healthy habits or towards habits of disease. A white roll is not going to do anything but taste good in your mouth for 10 seconds and you're moving towards habits of disease. Let's see. Got a few more minutes. You cannot state that you will reverse the disease state. He talked about malaise. Malaise is a word that he will use often. That's when we kind of just, he dropped his shoulders, he dropped his face, and he says, it's kind of when you're a little depressed, you're just not feeling it, you're not, there's a little bit of, he says that's the first signs. When you're just a little depressed, you're just a little off, you're just not feeling the energy. He says those are some of the first signs. And recognize you can be heading down the metabolic dysfunction road 10 years prior to it showing up on any blood work. That was like, ooh, I could have been starting into that RA and that Hashimoto's in my 30s. And I sure as heck probably was because I was not taking care of myself. I was on diets and then lose weight and starve myself. And yeah. And we want to get to a place where we heal our metabolism. We should be eating more food and we should be eating more of a variety of foods. We should. 5-in-1-ish is not what he wants us on for the rest of our lives at all. And that's been kind of fun working with Doug Wood's team because they are on the bandwagon for that. You know what? We need to be eating, healthy long grain rice. We need to be eating We just need to be paying attention to that stuff that isn't serving our body that we put with it. You know. Metabolic synchronicity, reverse metabolic dysfunction. We talked about this. Let's see. We want to lose the right kind of weight. He did a deep dive with his book on, the GLP-1s, and they can lose up to 40% of their muscle mass because they're not hungry. It creates where they're not hungry. They're not getting enough protein to support it. They're not taking the EAAs. He talked quite a bit how it directs us to the EAAs and how the EAAs is doing great things. Megan Ingbring shared with her results. Most of her clients are older. They're recovering from cardiac events, and even without very much exercise, in fact, she pretty much said without exercise, they're still building muscle because she has them do in-body scans all the time. She's watching what the EAAs can do. So even if you're not pushing your exercise, and recognize when you're looking at heart or when you're looking at muscle, your heart's a muscle, your stomach is a muscle. There's lots of other muscles. Now, skeletal muscle is the muscle that we're always thinking about when we talk about muscle. It's all of the muscles. When you say muscle, that's your organs, that's your muscle, and there's 3 different kinds of muscle. When you're talking about muscle, you're building all of those, not just the skeletal muscle, which is the stuff that we do. Okay, I gotta do, lifting weights. And it is very, very important to be doing all 3. You want to be doing aerobic, you want to do stretch and balance, and strength training. Strength training is so important, and most of us don't pick up weights. And we should be pushing those weights to a place where we can barely finish 11 reps. He said, we need to get to where we are pushing weights. Even if you're doing 15 minutes of lower body earlier in the week, upper body later in the week, and then maybe core someplace in between. But we need to be using weights. We need to do resistance training, whether it's the bands, but that was kind of fun having him go through that. It's healthy if we want to live a long, healthy life. Health by design. Health by Design is going to be the name of the new video that he's coming out from when he was in Spain. And that's probably as far, that was Friday morning. That was all. I mean, and trust me, I skimmed to the top. It was so good. That's not even, yeah. So any questions about that? And then I'll let you go off because it's Barb's one-on-one time. Okay. And all of you guys can be on tonight for Dr. A's room?
Yes, I can.
Yeah. And hopefully
So-
they'll have it recorded, but you know what? Oftentimes it's not. Or it's not
So
given to us anyway.
TJ, when after having this session with you and you're sharing your notes and that kind of thing, so for the rest of us to gather this information and kind of learn and realize and know that we're in this transition and stuff, then is this going to be something that's going to be coming out? Do we need to just go back and watch this again and just keep taking some notes off of this? How do you suggest? I guess I just want to know how to move forward to kind of get some of this, because we couldn't possibly write everything you said. Does that make sense?
Yep, don't overthink it. Just
Okay.
allow what came in to come in, because it's coming. It's going to be way more simple. And I don't know how many times he stopped us and said, "You are not the physician. You do not have to know one drop of this. other than you're a metabolic coach. You have the tools. On the 13th, you'll have a book. You don't need to know anything about the GLP-1. Say, you know what? I know this stuff, but it's easier for me to have you take ownership and read the book. And then connect with me. Do you think you can read this over the next week? He said it's going to be a short read. So it sounds like it's just going to be a little book. He says the biggest thing, I mean, even with coaching, he says, you don't have to read the whole books. Now it is great, and I encourage you to read the books 5 minutes a day, just like everybody else as coaches. But you have a coaching guide. Use that coaching guide. You do not have to be an expert. He goes, I am the physician. Satya, however you say her name, Satya, is she's the scientist behind it all. You are the guide. You are the goad. You're the guide. So, just know it's getting more simple. None of the stuff do you
Okay.
have to have. Just start absorbing it. Do what you do. Look forward. Listen to Dr. A this morning. Wow. But again, he's probably going to give us. There's 4 claims that we can use that I talked about, but he's going to give them to you again tonight. The 14%, the 98% protection, those. He's also going to tell you about when we're talking about things. We can talk about lowering blood pressure, lowering and hiring the different cholesterols. You can talk about reversing metabolic dysfunctions. You can talk about insulin resistance, lowering our insulin resistance. But he's gonna cover all of those again so that we know specifically. So there's a few things that you want to know. You don't have to he's like, you don't even have to understand about the mitochondria being the power plant, and you don't have to understand that, once the liver, just let people know that this is an amazing journey, and it's not about weight loss. Weight management is one of the side effects of stepping into it. He goes, do not become an expert. It's kind of like I was talking about on the Wednesday the other day. It hurts my heart when somebody says, oh, I don't think I could ever do what you do. Because that's not what a coach is, just a guide. And I get so excited because I've been given so much knowledge, and I've always had such a hard time learning and absorbing. And I want to teach it because I know when I teach it, I get more. I learn more. I own more, with the way that my brain doesn't always, absorb things. So I do get really excited about teaching it and stuff. And there are times that I need to shut down. So here's a funny little example that I want to make to you guys when you're talking about coaching coaches. So, and I think all of us are okay with me talking about God. So I was at this event. I don't even remember what it was. And there was this man that was leading it, and he is incredible. And I love to listen to him pray. When he prays, you can just tell filled with the Holy Spirit, and he's just following whatever the leadings are. And he's got these beautiful words, and it's like, just love to listen to him pray. And I'd been on my journey for quite a while at that point. And he got up to pray. He said, Lord, thank you for being here with us. Thank you for leading our conversations. In Jesus' name we pray. And I just kind of, that's interesting. And at some point later, I don't remember if it was that evening or if I went back, I said, I just have to ask. I'm always just overwhelmed and feel so prayed over when you just really, really, get in, and I can hear the Holy Spirit leading you. And, I can tell, you've got, and there's certain people that stand out to you that you feel like you need to give. And he's like, did you notice where we were? I'm like, what do you mean? We were in a room of people that were just becoming believers. If I would have prayed the way that I do when I'm with people who have been believers forever, they would never have felt confident in themselves of doing it. That has been such a huge example in my heart and in coaching. Huge example in my heart. When somebody says, "Oh, I could never do what you do," it's like, "Oh, I did it again." I got too excited, my passion overflowed,
Yeah.
and because, yeah, being a good coach, I think I was a much better coach when I first started because I didn't know anything. I was trying, I was striving. So the less that we say and the more that we ask questions, the better coach you're going to be. Just step into their world. We're not trying to give them everything that we know because they can't take it. We don't want to give them too much. We want to find out where they are, step into their world, not have them step into our world of everything that we've lived through for however long we've been coaching or on this journey. We want to find out where they are by asking lots and lots of questions and then match one or two things and tell them a little bit about the foundation of it. Does that?
Oh, I totally get your message. Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That
it's just you can't feed them too much because they don't know what to do with it yet. So they're not ready for that yet.
So that's kind of the same thing.
Little bites.
I'm here telling you guys stuff that I learned just to make you excited, understand that we've got great things in our hands. Don't become the expert of it. I mean, I could have went in and I could have because I love to teach. I could have gone in and I could have put pictures together over the last 2 days and I could have, had it all written out. And I said, no, I just want you guys to hear my excitement. I want you to hear about the simplicity. I want you to hear some of the stuff that I got fed, not all of it. And trust me, yeah, we were at Johanna's house for 13 hours on Friday before Dr. A got there and after, because it was just incredible and incredible people to be around. So again, yeah, if you want to take notes and write down everything that I said, that's great just for you. Just be real careful not to be overwhelming of others. So,
Yeah, I call that word vomiting.
yep. All right, guys, I'm going to shut off recording.
Okay.
Sure I am. If I can figure out how to shut off recording up here.